Everyone has a unique book of life known as Akashic Records. Welcome to today's Spiritual Mastery interviews with Akashic Record readers, guides, and practitioners. All right, hello and welcome everyone to Spiritual Mastery and Akashic Records. I'm super excited to share this awesome interview with you. I've got Elijah Johnston coming today, so give Elijah a round of applause.
Hey everyone.
Hello Elijah, so great to connect to you today. It's great to see your smiling face, and thank you so much for joining me for this interview. I'm excited to know more about you and share the work that you're doing with our audience, our community. So let's just dive in. I'd like to know how you got involved or interested in the spiritual arts, the healing arts. Tell us a little bit about you, good sir.
Cool. Thank you for having me, Anne. And yeah, I guess it all started with growing up. My parents had a belief and knowing that there was more than our three-dimensional reality. And that was kind of a great starting point for me. But I remember something very pivotal in my life was right after college, my dad recommended me a book called The Finding of the Third Eye.
Wow.
And that book just expanded the lens of what I wanted to know a lot more. It expanded the lens of what I wanted to learn, and it expanded my understanding of what's out there. And then that kind of took me on a bit of a journey, and through my travels, I have come across lots of healers and energy workers and shamans and people that I have shared space with and worked with. And through that whole journey, I have really come to, I guess, remember my own abilities and remember my own connectedness just by having these experiences of meeting people and sessions with people and going deeper within myself and clearing my own field of long-held baggage. And during that clearing is really where that remembering and realization began happening. And so that took me on this path of wanting to hone that a bit more. And I guess that brings us here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to just touch upon that journey of remembering, because that's a very special experience to come into that awareness in this 3D form. So what has that brought up for you around this journey of remembering?
Yeah, so I've realized that we build up these layers over time, and then at some point we try to figure out, or in some cases we then get to a point where we try to figure out how to remove those layers, right? And I think that there were points when there was a period in my life where I started to really recognize very acutely those layers and recognizing them as layers and realizing that the layers are not my nature, right? And that there is a truth, and that truth self is infinite. So I think it really came in recognizing that there are layers that I've built up throughout my life, and that can come from just a myriad of experience and socialization and programming. But the recognition of those layers really kickstarted the remembering journey.
Yeah.
And now for me, I'm in this really potent time in my life where when I look in the mirror, I actually am seeing myself as a kid. Like I'm seeing the kid me when I look in the mirror. And I'm at this point where I'm feeling, really internalizing that the kid me and adult me, it's the same core, and it's really this remembering of who I am.
Especially because the kid you knows how to play, and there are many people that when they become the adults, they forget how to do play. So what has that playful energy of seeing that kid-like nature in yourself brought you as a spirit worker, an entrepreneur, and a healer?
Yeah, I think it's I guess getting in touch with that play and that child and that truth. It's allowed me to experiment more in my work of bringing that playfulness into the world and accessible to more people. And some of the ways that that's manifested, I guess one example is with dance and movement. And I feel like in a lot of places, especially more economically developed places, we have kind of a crisis of stagnation, of being
Woo,
stagnant.
yes.
And we are, when we're young and unlayered, right? There's a lot of movement, there's a lot of play, and so with one of my projects now, I'm really Groove with Gaia. We're really looking at how can we bring that movement back to people? How can we open that space and invite that playfulness? So I guess movement and dance is one of the ways that I'm doing that, but also in my work as a consultant and as an entrepreneur, and just when thinking of new concepts and ideas, really not being bound by or confined by existing structures and thinking. And I think that also kind of ties back into that playful, childlike nature of being open to explore and being curious.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm curious how you tie all this in with your work with the Akashic Records, how your connection to the Akashic Records has helped you uncover these layers and also provided a support for that remembrance.
Mm. And is that within myself or in my work with
Both,
others?
yeah, both in self
Okay.
and also with others. How's that manifest?
Mm. Yeah. So my work with the Akashic Records has, yeah, it's really allowed me to gain clarity in new ways, allowed me to gain clarity in new ways, and also has allowed me to develop a deeper trust in my intuition. Of when you hear certain things reflected back or put into very blunt terms, almost more blunt than you would want to acknowledge within yourself, right? So I think my work in the Akashic Records as a receiver, in terms of receiving and reading my own records, has really been a sobering journey, to say the least, in terms of gaining that clarity, in terms of gaining that understanding. And then with other people as a reader, uh, yeah, I think it has, it's really helped me. Um, I guess it's really helped me expand the thinking of the people that I am working with, because there have been a lot of times where I'm working with people for the first time,
Yeah,
and often people that might not have had any sort of channeled experience or reading before. So bringing that playful aspect into it and bringing that playful energy into how I hold that space, and really keeping that openness, I think is a way that all of that kind of integrates into the readings.
absolutely. And I'm going to bring us into this section right here where I want to talk about some of your promotional offers, because you do offer individual Akashic Record readings. You also do business readings. And I'm just curious to ask you, because you are very much a renaissance man here, being able
Mm.
to provide such multiple levels of support to people, especially entrepreneurs. So this is kind of it's a bit of a double layered question. Considering all the things that you do and all the things, the layers and the path of remembering, what do you feel like you bring that's unique to you?
Mm. Yeah, I think one of those things is something that you touched on a little bit, but I think that I bring a whole systems approach, a holistic approach, just given my diversity of experience. And I guess just some examples of that is, I am I was a professional software engineer, I was also a business strategist and product designer, and I was also a permaculture designer working on land-based projects and working with plants and working with natural ecosystems. So those are just some examples, but looking across those different spaces, I think I'm able to bring a whole systems holistic approach and really see different connections, right? And seeing the interconnectedness between things, seeing the dots connect, and being able to bring that into the work and being able to translate that for people into
Totally.
something that's actionable. Um,
Absolutely. And you touched upon something that's really, really beautiful, which is it helps you to see all the dots that connect to an outcome. So when people come to you and they have questions, they're probably getting more than just a single answer. Like, here's a linear answer. You're probably getting all these bird eye views and really expanding their mindset by what you bring experientially, the knowledge you've collected, and also your ability to really conduit and receive and just transmit. So,
mm,
what's your favorite type of work to do when it comes to this big world of play that you're doing with your different readings and your entrepreneurship?
yeah, so the favorite my favorite work, I guess the best part about what I do and the thing that I like doing the most is um, collaborating with people to solve complex challenges that are going to leave the world a better place for generations to come. So I am really focused on uh, two things: connection and empowerment. Connection, and how do we restore connection to ourselves, to community, to planet, and empowerment, how do we empower people, how do we level the socioeconomic playing field.
Mm-hmm.
So ventures and projects within those spaces, I love collaborating with the folks that are working in those spaces and helping to move the thinking forward, helping to bring new thinking into the project, helping to define strategies and action plans, and helping to execute, get it done, and put it out. So really kind of managing the life cycle of bringing new solutions into the world.
Yeah. Well, bridging on that statement that you just made, because it sounds like you help entrepreneurs as well as just regular people with being able to see the big picture, adding new ways of seeing the outcome. So if you are working with somebody and they were stuck on a project somewhere in their life and they just weren't sure how to get moving, how to get started, how to even get out of that stuckness, what would be three things that you would encourage them to consider?
Mm. And is that in regards to working with someone, or is that things that they can do on their own?
Things that they can do on their own, as well as when they come to work with you, kind of give our audience a little taste test. If they come to you and say, Elijah, I have this big project I want to do, or I have this business I want to create, or there's this practice I want to start, or I have this idea I want to launch, but I'm
Right,
just stuck. I don't know how to get started, and I need something really
right.
easy to just get going. What would you
So
give for those people?
yeah, I think there are three things that people can do on their own. I think one is to get moving, and that might sound unrelated. And I mean moving in terms of moving your body
Physical
and
movement.
actually physical movement,
Yes.
getting out, ideally in natural spaces and moving. That could be running, that can be dancing, but getting your energy moving, getting your body moving. So, movement, I think, is a thing that people can do that would bring new movement in the projects that they're working on and new movement in other things they're working on in themselves and in their lives. So I'd say movement. The second one is breathing. Um, and it's something that we are doing autonomously, but being intentional about breathing can allow us to access different states of our consciousness, different states of our being,
Yeah.
deeper and higher states of our being. So yeah, that's something that someone can do on their own, given the plethora of resources that there are online. There are lots of great breathwork, pranayama techniques that are easy to integrate, that can also promote movement. And that's movement of prana, movement of life force in our bodies, in our physical vessels. The third thing is recording. And recording, it's like getting it down, right? Starting to record things, writing, handwriting. Just start getting stuff down and recording it, because when you put it out there and etch it into the universe, things are going to start to manifest. Things are going to start to magnetize. So
Yes.
I'd say movement, breathing, and recording are three things that someone can do today.
Easy. Those are such easy steps. And I think that it's so helpful for people to hear this, especially those of you that are watching that may just be stuck. And,
Mm,
these three steps are so simple that people forget these because
mm,
there's got to be something external they have to find. Oh, I got to find a
right.
therapist. I got to find a coach. I got to find this or that. And what you're offering is something that is really helpful, easy, and gets people out of here and really more into the
Mm,
field of their entire body to be a receiver.
right.
So I'm curious
Right.
to ask you, have you ever experienced a situation where it was like a mystical experience that basically allowed these three suggestions that you just gave, the movement, the breathing, the tracking, the recording? Did you ever experience something where these three things were put into effect and you were like, oh my God, that shifted everything?
Yeah. I think for the movement, there's one distinct experience where me and my partner, who have Groove with Gaia together, we first decided to go on the beach and dance one day. It was her idea, and she suggested we go to the beach and just put in our headphones and dance. And during that experience, um, a lot happened internally. I guess on a mental level, recognizing that we never really have the outlet or permission or invitation to just move. But then on on an emotional level, on a physical level, on a metaphysical level, really feeling empowered and connected to the earth, connected to all that is life through this movement.
Yeah.
So that was one very profound experience. In terms of the breathing, I got really into breath work as a Kundalini yoga practitioner. And I remember, doing one breath called the Trinity breath, which is a breathing technique. And that doing that exercise, that practice really transformed my entire day. Like the whole lens through which I was seeing the world shifted after that uh, breathwork experience, just to a different level of groundedness and a different level of clarity. So I think that was a very profound beginning experience with breathing. And then thirdly, with recording, I guess this is a more recent example compared to the other two, but I just got a house in Asheville, North Carolina. And as many people might know, the real estate market is super hot right now, especially very hot in North Carolina and Asheville. And
Mm,
I was going through the process, seeing homes, etc. And it wasn't until I actually wrote down what I wanted, the house appeared, not even kidding, a few days later. After all of this time of looking and going to houses, and now I'm in the house, and I could not have imagined a more fitting and better house. And it wasn't until I actually recorded that and put that out there and really was specific about what I was looking for and what I wanted, and
yeah.
seeing that manifest. I guess so. Those are three distinct experiences with each of those.
Absolutely. And I got to say that, you had talked about recording a little bit before, but your statement is extremely profound when you say that when you got really clear about what you wanted,
Mm,
it was as if the universe responded right away, because that specificity is what really led to the outcome. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people I work with, and also people you likely work with, is they come to us because they're not quite sure what their outcome is, or they're not sure how to be specific enough to get there.
right, right.
So I'd like to ask you about some of these awesome promotional offers that you've got, which includes the individual Akashic Record Readings, the Akashic Business Readings, digital product consulting, and also guided nature dance meditation, which you spoke about, Groove with Gaia. So when you look at these promotional offers, I'd like to just ask you to share a little bit about what you are offering with our community.
Right. Awesome. Thank you. So, with the Akashic Record readings, offering those on both an individual as well as a business level, on the individual level, it's really about getting clear on certain aspects of your life, yeah, certain aspects of your nature. And if there are questions that you have around what you're doing, who you are, where you're going, just leveraging and opening up my abilities and gifts to be able to provide channeled information that can help somebody along their path. But also, along with that, is adding an integration at the end where we can sit down and reflect and talk through certain things and talk through integration.
Yeah.
Because again, that actionability is something that I've done tons and tons for clients and companies and people. So that's something I'm incorporating into the individual readings as well, is how does this integrate? How do I action this? And then for the business readings, so I've been working with businesses for my entire professional career as a consultant, helping them drive new innovation in various ways. And so the Akashic business reading is, I guess, really around helping to remember the why behind
Mhm.
what you're doing and really get into what that why is, what that purpose is, and
Beautiful.
then helping to unlock steps in getting to where you want to go and embodying what that purpose is and embodying that why. And with this offer specifically is really where I'm marrying a lot of my professional experience as a product and innovation consultant with my abilities to work with and guide in the Akashic Records. And so that also includes an integration component afterward where we can really discuss and reflect and think about what does this mean. Um, and then
Incredible.
the yeah, so those are the Akashic record reading offerings. And then with the digital product consulting, so my my unique superpower when it comes to bringing value to businesses is product strategy. Because of my experience as an engineer, my experience as a designer, my experience as a strategist, and my experience as a channel, I think that combination has allowed me to bring a lot of value to companies that are looking to get digital products into market,
Yeah.
that are looking to find who that assigned group or market is,
Yeah.
and helping to design the right solution to seemingly complex challenges. So, with that consulting, I'm really all about how do we create a better future? How do we create a better now? And how do we create a better future? How do we look at what does this earth and living on earth look like for generations to come?
I
And
love it.
lastly, with
Yeah.
the guided nature dance meditation, so many people have probably heard of guided meditations, but this, with Groove with Gaia, what we're doing is facilitating a movement experience in natural spaces. And you think it's a moving meditation, and it is an interaction with the ecosystems that we are inherently a part of.
Yeah.
And so we actually have a purchasable guided meditation on our site, but we also do facilitate nature dance events as well. So that's a bit about the promotional offers.
Yeah, well, tell us how people can find you, first of all, and if you have something that you're currently promoting right now that you would like our audience to know about. You told us about the readings, the consulting, and I got to tell you, friends, if you are at all considering anything tied to digital products, this guy is your dude. So tell us where we can find you, Elijah.
Yeah, so you can find me at changeinit.com for Akashic Record Readings for business and individual, as well as for anything consulting related. On that site, you'll be able to book a session with me. For the consulting side, you'll be able to book a discovery call with me to talk about your project. And then go to groovewithgaia.com to find the guided nature dance meditation. And also you can follow Groove with Gaia on social media. We put out a lot of content at the
Yeah.
intersection of movement, mindfulness, and Mother Earth. So you can find us there too.
Now, I know it might be a little too premature to ask. You just got settled into your new home, but I'm just curious to find out, do you have a nature dance coming up that you want to be able to share with our community? Do you do live
Yes.
streaming dances?
We do live streaming dances. We don't have any planned at the moment, unfortunately. It would have been great if we did for this promotion, but yeah, we don't have any planned at the moment. We do live stream dances, but I would say the best thing that somebody can do is to get on our mailing list on the website, because we will be having dances quite soon. My incredible partner, Cameron, she's actually going through an ecstatic dance DJ course at the moment. So we're going to keep on building this up. We're going to keep on getting the world moving and interacting.
I love it. You are speaking my language. I know you're speaking the language of other people out there. Elijah, thank you so much for this very insightful call. I am so excited with all the amazing things that you are doing, all the amazing things that you and your partner Cameron are bringing into the world. And most of all, I am super jazzed by these Akashic Record readings, the business readings. I can't wait to sign up for one. So, my friend,
Yes.
if you are looking for some answers, if you're looking for some steps, if you're ready to discover and remember that why, don't hesitate. Contact Elijah Johnston, and you can reach him at changeinit.com or groovewithgaia.com. Thank you again, Elijah, for this awesome interview. I'm super ecstatic and happy that you are fully settled and you are rocking your work in the world. So thank you so much. And for all of you that are jumping on board or just catching this call, come and check out Elijah Johnston. You can find him at changeinit.com or Groove with Gaia. All right, friends, have a blessed day. Take great care, and we will see you soon. Bless up.